Yeah.
Because your dad was a cabbie, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, yeah. Couldn't stand it, but it's good money.
He was he wasn't like a chancer, though.
What was he doing when he put that little Forrest Gump in a wheelie bin?
That was part of the cab company thing. They had to do, like, a charity event once a year, and he did it one year. Never asked him again.
Tell us the story again.
No, I'd rather not, because we got a few sort of, complaints about it.
Why? Why did you get complaints about it?
Because he put a kid in a bin, and it's not the thing to do. So.
But we could use it as a sort of sobering lesson for people.
Yeah, tell it like a, you know, you shouldn't do it.
No, yeah, but that's how I did it last time, but people still didn't like it. All the stuff I tell you, we don't take the mickey out of people on purpose. No. It's real life, innit? And that goes on in life.
Yeah.
My dad was saying that in hospital, though. Do you know how he was in hospital?
Yeah.
You know, he did some jokes about old people and that. And he said, at the end of the day, if something makes you laugh, it's funny. And if it makes you laugh, you can't help laughing, can you? Do you know what I mean? So, what you meant to do? And laughing's good for you.
Yeah.
So,
but being laughed at isn't as good for you, is it?
No, but there's probably more people laughing at one person, so if you balance it out, there's only one person who's upset and there's a bunch of people laughing. So, it's...
Genius! Give me an example of that, give me an example.
Well, for instance, Karl Pilkington as he talks and the people listening.
Yeah, no, give me an example of, like, so, you know...
I can't, because again, that's what I'm saying, I can't tell you the story, because there might be someone out there who... This person might even be listening and think, I forgot about that and you brought it all back to me then.
Yeah.
So, I prefer to leave it, but I think people know...
Why did he put him in the bin in the first place?
Because he was getting out of hand.
What was he doing, though?
You see, I can't explain without...
You can! Don't be silly!
I prefer to leave it, honestly.
What was he doing? Was he annoying him?
He was annoying me dad and the other people in the cab.
Right.
And he thought, how can I deal with this before it gets too out of hand?
Yeah.
He pulled over and put the lad in a wheelie bin.
I'm gonna burst!
So we'll leave that.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
How old was the kid?
I'm not sure, but I mean, it was a trip to sort of Blackpool, so I'm guessing...
Do you think it was one of the rides?
17.
This is rubbish.
17?
Yeah.
Oh, he's quite an old lad then.
So, a big lad.
Yeah.
But let's
did he pick him up?
He picked him up and put him in a wheelie bin.
Every time he says it, I like it.
And then on the way back, he got him back again. He said, right, you won't do that again.
On the way back?
Yeah, he left him there for a bit.
He left him there, what, they went to Blackpool and he left the kid in the wheelie bin?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
What, was the kid in the wheelie bin when he drove back?
Yeah.
Did he not get out?
No, because how do you get out? It's tricky, innit? And he wasn't a normal kid, was he? Let's leave it.
He wasn't a normal kid.
Right then. So,
Is your father in prison?
Oh,
I think he should be.
I asked Karl in the week, right, what animal would he never trust? Even if he got to know it and it was a pet and everything, what animal would he never trust? What was it?
Was this, a wasp?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you trust a wasp, Karl?
I just think that,
they're shifty?
All other animals, if you get them at an early age, you can sort of make them like you.
You can train them.
A wasp.
Nothing.
Never.
Is there anything do you think there's anything you could do that would kind of, win the favour and win the trust of a wasp? What would you have to do you think?
What if you had it from a little grub?
Yeah.
And you fed it, you had its favourite marmalade?
It doesn't affect it though, does it? A bee dies, doesn't it, if it does it, so it's not gonna, like, use it willy-nilly.
That's easy for you to say.
But a wasp,
you think they sting arbitrarily? They just sting for the fun of it? They're like sort of like delinquent insects?
I think so, because last night, right, I mean, this is part of educating Ricky in a way, but something I learnt last night was that tarantulas only bite you if you annoy it.
Right.
They don't, do you know how people say, oh, if you're in a sleeping bag living in a jungle, a spider will get in there and it'll bite you?
Yeah,
apparently not, you've got to really annoy it. The thing that it really hates is having its leg sort of twisted.
It hates having its leg twisted. Right.
Yeah, but that's more for...
Is that what they said in a documentary?
No,
actually said
almost certainly not, Steve. Almost certainly
Were you watching
not.
a documentary?
No, I was reading it.
Oh, you're reading it.
And, it was this guy...
Was it scrawled on the wall in like a public toilet?
No, I'll tell you. I'll tell you more about that later.
Oh,
it's
right,
part of the,
educating.
So if you don't trust the evil wasp, what animal do you trust? What's your favourite?
Well, I also, I said to him, right, supposing your mind, right, your mind was got put into any animal, right, and you've got to get from where you are now, right, to Glasgow, right, as an animal, right, but the authorities will be looking out for it.
Okay.
And it's shooting you, right? And, what you went through loads, didn't you?
I was thinking about it it must have took me about an hour.
So your mind has been put into an animal.
And then, so it's you in this animal thinking you've got to get to somewhere.
But the authorities know you're in the animal?
Yeah, maybe your body is in Glasgow somewhere, and you've got to get this animal to get to you so it can transfer its mind back into your body.
But the government knows that I'm...
Oh, we've all had that conversation.
So the government's going, Karl can't have his own brain back.
I only have it with Karl, don't I, these conversations. Go on, yeah.
So you're on the way.
So think about it, you think about it just for a second, so, let's recap. Your body's in Scotland.
Right.
He's the only one that takes my question seriously.
Your brain is in London. Right? And there's like loads of security and stuff looking out in the sky for animals or looking on the field, seeing what's looking a bit suspicious. Trying to get to your body.
And they're shooting
the brain, and they're shooting everything and killing all the animals. What thing would you pick to get your brain to Scotland that wouldn't get caught? And I reckon I've got the answer.
A wasp?
No, because think about it, a lot of people get irritated if it sort of wanted to get a lift in a car going down the motorway. If someone's driving it's a wasp in the car, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, sure.
Cause a right accident. So think of something that people wouldn't,
And the clock's ticking as well.
You're taking this really very seriously, aren't you, Karl?
You've only got a couple
you've given this a lot of thought, haven't you? You have.
Yeah.
So, something with speed.
Yeah, it's
something that can travel quite speedily.
Well, that's...
and something that's also inconspicuous. Yeah. Is that the sort of thing that's what you're going to
Yeah.
And is it a creature that's native to this country?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
I've got no idea, Karl. What are you thinking?
Tell him.
A flea.
A flea?
Tell him why.
Think about it. Right, this flea, it's got my brain. It's dead small, the flea.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah.
And so it goes, right, I've got to get to Scotland. So it jumps on someone who's going to Euston Station.
Right.
They don't know it's there.
No.
The government can't see it.
Government can't see it, Steve! Think of that statement! Think of you just tuned in.
Yeah.
Now,
people get on the train, goes to Glasgow or Edinburgh, wherever in Scotland it is. It jumps off, it goes right, jumps on someone else who's going the way it needs to go, gets there, still no one's seen it, jumps on me, I get my brain back.
Yeah.
The government are like, phew.
And you feel confident that your brain would fit in that of a flea's?
Well, you said there was no problem with the size of it. You said you could...
there certainly wouldn't be.
So...
No.
I pretty much you could download everything you know into a flea.
Yeah.
So that's genius.
Yeah.
That's,
what would you rather have, right? Roller skate feet, and there's little wheels, right? Chopstick hands. Yeah? Instead of hands. Chopsticks instead of hands. Wheels instead of feet.
Yeah.
Right? Or acne.
How big are the wheels?
I woke up this morning, yeah?
Feeling fine.
It's not a blues song. And, I turned my phone on, and it was from Karl, and it went, forget it, I've made my mind up. And I thought,
wow.
What is that? And I
forget
phoned him.
it, I've made my mind.
Yeah, I went, Karl, what is it? He went, oh no, it's about the text I sent you last night. I went, well, what was it? I just got this text. He went, I was just wondering, I was thinking last night. He said, supposing you had to have your hands removed.
Sure.
Right? And the doctor said, well, you can either have them stay like that with stumps, or I can sew feet there. What would you have? And I was bleary-eyed, and I went, the stumps? He went, yeah. I went, alright? He went, yeah.
And then what was his follow-up text to that?
And then I got the text, it was obviously before it, and it went, and it was like quite serious. What would you do if so he's not doing your hands? Would you have stumps or the feet? Right? Now the way, when I said he's made his mind up, and I went the stumps, he went, yeah. I think secretly he decided on the feet, but was too embarrassed to tell me.
There's a little bit of what would you do? because
But why did you think of this? Why did you think of this?
Girlfriend's
come
away,
about?
right?
Yeah, no, that's not why you start thinking bizarre
I'll tell
surgery
you now,
devices.
right? I'll let you into my little mind, right? Last night, I had some beans on toast, right? She was away.
It's good already.
She was away, she had some beans on toast, she went wild.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I was stood up. I live on on a high street, right? So I'm washing up, I'm looking out the window. First thing that had my attention is I can look into other people's flats, right?
Yeah.
And it was weird how all these different lives were going on. I was watching them, and everybody had the telly on and was watching Volcano, right? Which was on last night.
Right.
And I thought, oh, that's weird, right? I can see them all watching it. And it was like a little Chinese lad who was dancing around in some underpants.
Yeah.
And then there's a little old woman who lives downstairs who was reading a book, and she's always reading a book every night. And it's like, I have a better life than her. And then there's like some sort of bouncer who's always getting ready to go out late at night with all the black on. He looks like a bouncer. So I was watching all this life going on. I thought,
did you witness a murder while you were doing this?
Yeah.
It was like that sort of Sliver film where that bloke had loads of tellies watching people's lives. So that was going on in my mind. And then I was washing up, and I picked up the plate, and I thought, oh, it's amazing, isn't it? The human body, the way you can just sort of, I want to pick that up, and you do.
Yes.
And the way your hands work, right?
Yeah.
You've got 5 little digits, but it's just the right amount to do what you've got to do, right? So I'm cleaning the plate.
Sorry, Carl. Stop. It's just the right amount. Might be one of the most genius things I've ever heard said. I would love David Attenborough to phone you up and say, Carl, how do I word this about the evolution of the mammalian front limb? Just go, we'll just say it's the right amount.
But it is. One
of course
extra
it
would
is.
get in the way.
Yeah.
And one less would just make it that little bit more tricky when picking up a bit of a slippery dish.
Sure, or buying gloves. Yeah.
A slippery dish.
So then I was thinking, imagine like going to the doctors and they're saying, yeah, everything's all right, your heart's good and everything, but
Your art's good? What, your Lara is, or...?
yeah, your heart, you're in good form and whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, it's good news. I had Giano in earlier. He's not looking good.
Yeah. I had Fat Swaller.
But you're all right. But your hands need to come off.
Right. Blimey.
But
That's bad. Like, I'd get a second opinion initially.
But a better good news, I've got a nice pair of feet I can
Sure.
sort you out with.
Yeah.
And he puts them on, and then I was thinking, right, first of all, washing up, what would that be like? I thought,
Steve.
that'd be tricky.
Yeah.
And then the second thing was, it'd probably ruin the sort of the shape of your jumper.
Because you had to keep putting the feet through there. Yeah.
And then I thought, but I could still cycle in
Okay.
to work.
You could run in.
Well, that's the thing.
You'd be really
Yeah.
fast.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I thought I could still cycle because I could balance, and then I thought, but the only thing is I probably couldn't pull the brakes because of the little short things.
Yeah.
And then, like you, I thought, but then again, you'd run in half the time. So that's what was going on in last night.
Right.
That's what I was thinking about.
Did you
How
ever...
long did this take?
Well, how long does it take to wash up?
Right. Because I imagine you just being there for, like, all night.
Probably 25 minutes.
How long did the little Chinese fella dance for in his pants?
He's always doing it. Last night he was at it for like 10 minutes.
Just, yeah.
And his girlfriend never sits in the same room as him. She's always sat in the bedroom.
She's going, you dance in pants again, I go in next
Yeah.
door.
Well, she was in the bedroom. She's always in the bedroom, sat on the floor, on the mobile phone.
Right.
All the
Really?
time, yeah. It's weird how people's lives are just like, it is like that Groundhog Day thing. It's like, he's jumping about in his underpants. The old woman's sat there reading a book.
Yeah.
And that's what got me thinking about my life.
Do you think she ever
Are
goes...
you sure she's not dead? Every time you look down there, she's just flicking through it. She's just reading this book. The pages never turn. She never seems to finish it. She never moves from her chair.
Are you sure the Chinese
Her
girl's
cats
going...
are dead around her.
I'm going into next door again. That little
Yeah,
round-headed
the
fella's
smell.
looking in. He's looking in at me. The bouncer goes, don't worry, love, I'll go and beat him up. But he's
That's
always
true.
getting ready.
That's true. They're
They
probably...
see you staring at him, washing up, going, I could have feet here. And they get
Yeah.
scared. The old woman's dead. Oh,
Carl,
dear.
can you tell us roughly which neighbourhood you live in, so that we know?
It's central.
Central, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, imagine if that little... Was he a Chinese fella, did you say?
Yeah.
Imagine if he was listening now. I'd love him to call in and explain his actions.
Well, he might be on some other radio station talking about a lad who's always washing up and looking at his hands in a mysterious way.
Yeah.